You gotta understand, when you work in D.C., silence isn't just golden. It's the whole entire Fort Knox. I mean, my job. I run the FAA, the whole FAA. My world is noise. It's angry senators. It's airline CEOs yelling about margins. It's 2 a.m. phone calls because some pilot in Idaho decided to play tag with a mountain. I was burned out, fried, just done. All I wanted, all I'd dreamed of for months, was a week at my dad's old farm in the Texas hill country. Just quiet. The sound of wind in the pecan trees, maybe a cow complaining in the distance. That's it, peace. So I pull up the long gravel driveway, my shoulders are already unknotting, and I'm greeted by the beep, beep, beep of a bulldozer in reverse. I get out of the truck, and I just stare my dad's pasture, the one he spent 30 years restoring. It's covered in orange stakes, like some kind of tic-tac-toe game from hell. And there's this team, spray painting a long white line, straight through my best hayfield. And then I see her. She's standing there, arms crossed, wearing sunglasses that probably cost more than my first car. She's just watching the bulldozer like she's admiring a painting. This was Cynthia Croft, the HOA president. Now you gotta know. My farm. My land. It predates her fancy estates at Willow Creek by about, 50 years. My land is technically grandfathered in. It's not part of her little kingdom. But she's always hated it. It's the unsightly farmland that ruins her luxury view. She struts over, heels sinking into the dirt, and she doesn't even say hello. She just smiles. A tight plastic smile. Sam, isn't it? She says. So glad you could finally make it. We've begun the community improvements. I looked at the bulldozer. I looked at the white line. Improvements, Cynthia? This is my pasture. What are you doing? Progress, Sam, progress. This community is moving forward. This is the new community access road. The board approved it unanimously. The board? Your board doesn't have a vote. On my land, she sighed like I was a child. Sam, this dirty old farm is an eyesore. We're improving the infrastructure. It's going to raise all of our property values. You should be thanking us. She then just turned around, barked an order at the foreman, and walked away. I was just baffled. I was too tired to even be angry. I went inside the old farmhouse. Later that day, I drove into town to Earl's Feed and Seed. Earl's been there forever. He was chewing on a toothpick, stocking feed bags. He just looks at me. Saw the circus out at your place. I nodded. Yeah, she says she's building a road, Earl. He let out this long, slow chuckle. A road? That's what she's calling it? He leans in. Sam, she's not building a road. She's building a runway. She's been telling all her rich friends, the ones with the little puddle jumper planes, that Willow Creek is about to become an exclusive fly-in community. She's gonna build an airstrip right across your dad's hayfield. I just stood there by the 50-pound bags of chicken feed, a runway, a private airport, on my land, and that's when the DC burnout just evaporated and the other part of my brain, the FAA Director brain, it just clicked on. I almost laughed out loud. I mean, the audacity, the cosmic, beautiful irony of it all, of all the farms in all of Texas. She picked my farm to build an illegal runway. She had no idea, no clue who I was, and right then and there, I made a decision. I wasn't going to say a word. I wasn't going to flash a badge. Oh no, this was just too perfect. My vacation was over, but I had a new project. I was going to let her dig. I was going to let her pour the concrete. I was going to let her build her entire stupid, arrogant dream, right up until the moment. I personally shut her down. The next morning I woke up to, not bulldozers, no, asphalt trucks. The smell of hot tar, mixing with the smell of sweetgrass. They were paving. They were actually paving my pasture. I grabbed my coffee, walked right out there. Cynthia was there, of course, in a brand new bright white hard hat. Like she was in charge. Cynthia, I yelled over the rumble. She struts over. Sam, made your peace with progress? So, I said, just playing dumb. Airstrip, huh? That's the plan. Her smile was blinding. Not an airstrip, Sam. The airstrip. Luxury, prestige. We're already pre-selling hangar spots. This is the future, and you're standing right in the middle of it. You do realize this is illegal, right? You can't just build an airport. There are rules, federal law, and she laughed. She threw her head back and laughed. Oh, Sam, don't be so dramatic. It's a community project. The board voted. And besides, by the time you get some small-town lawyer to file a cease and desist or whatever, it'll be done. It'll be operational. The planes will be landing. She leaned in, her voice dropping. So here's your choice. You can sell. I'll make you a fair offer. Sell. Or just get out of the way. Because we are building this. That was it. That was the moment. She'd given me the out. She'd threatened me. Game on. I went to the next HOA meeting, held in their sterile clubhouse. I stood in the back. Cynthia saw me, smirked. She's up at the podium, going on about vision and prestige. I raised my hand. Sam, she sighs, this isn't your meeting. You're not a member. I'm not. But that's my land you're talking about. I have the deed. Right here, I held it up. The original 1953 deed. This isn't community property. This is Miller property. And you are all trespassing. The room got real quiet. A few people looked uncomfortable. Cynthia, she didn't miss a beat. We appreciate your sentimental attachment, Sam, but the board has voted. The needs of the many outweigh the stubbornness of the few. I walked up to the podium. I didn't yell. I lowered my voice. Cynthia, you can bully these folks into painting their mailboxes. You can fine them for their grass being a half-inch too long. But let me explain something to you. When it comes to airspace, when it comes to runways, you're not in charge. You are so far out of your league. Her eyes. For the first time, I saw a flicker. Not of fear, but of confusion, like, who the hell does this farmer think he is? She banged her gavel. Meeting adjourned. Oh, she was mad. The real war had just started. The next morning, 6 a.m. The boom, rattle, rumble of the heavy machinery. Right outside my bedroom window. It wasn't just construction. It was a punishment. This is the end of part 1. Part 2 will follow immediately. So the next morning, 6 a.m. rumble, rattle, screech. Sounds like a tank battalion is coming through my living room. She'd paid the construction crew extra, specifically, to start right under my window, as punishment. I got up. I made a pot of coffee. I sat on the porch, and I just watched them. I watched them tear up my dad's land. And I smiled. Keep digging, Cynthia. I just muttered into my mug. Dig it deep. This went on for days. The harassment. It escalated. I woke up one morning and there was a laminated notice, zip-tied to my front doorknob. Violation, it said in this big angry font. Obstruction of community progress, apparently. My 100-year-old tractor, parked in my own barn, was an unapproved vehicle and a hazard to her. Development, the fine? $500, I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. I took a picture of it, and I labeled it Exhibit A the next morning. I go to drive into town to get feed, and she's had her crew line up those big orange construction barrels, completely blocking my driveway. I was barricaded by a suburban homeowners association. I looked at the barrels. I looked at her, watching from her front window across the way, that smug little smirk on her face. I got in my old F-250, put it in four-wheel drive, and I drove right over them, crunch, pop, crunch, her face. Oh, it was worth it, but I knew I had to do my actual job. That night I went into my dad's study. I opened my secure federal laptop, logged into the FAA database, and I thought, okay, Cynthia, let's see what you've really done. I ran a search for any permit applications within a 50-mile radius of Willow Creek, and, oh my God, there it was, a petition for expedited approval. for a private community airstrip. She'd actually filed it. She must have thought it was just like filing for a parade permit. Just a formality. I opened the file. It was adorable. No environmental impact study. No airspace review. No safety protocols, no anything, just requesting airstrip for community prestige and property value enhancement. I stared at it, and I saw the approve deny buttons flashing on my screen. My screen, the request for this illegal runway on my land had been routed directly to my terminal. I took a long sip of coffee, and I hit the big red denied button. Click. That, I whispered. That's the sound of federal law, Cynthia. The application was now flagged, red flagged. Any activity was now officially criminal. But I wasn't done. Oh no, I was building a case. I spent the next 2 days, not as a farmer, but as an investigator. I set up 3 trail cams, the kind you use for deer, all around the construction site. I got hours of footage, trucks, crews, her pointing, directing, all after the official denial. This wasn't just illegal construction anymore. This was willful defiance of a federal order. Then I went and talked to the neighbors. Old Mrs. Gable, 3 houses down. She was terrified. Sam, she said, her hands shaking, my windows, they rattle so hard. A picture of my husband fell off the wall. She's just a bully. I got her to sign a sworn statement. I talked to a young couple. The ones with the new baby. The baby doesn't sleep, Sam, ever. The noise. It's just... They signed a statement, and then I found the real prize. She'd put up a sign, a huge glossy sign, right at the entrance to the estates. The future is in the air. Willow Creek Sky Park. Reserve your hangar spot now. Founding member rates. She was pre-selling spots for an airport that didn't exist. That was actively illegal. On land she didn't own. That's not an HOA dispute. That's wire fraud. I took a picture, Exhibit B, and I waited, and sure enough, about a week later, a gold embossed invitation lands in my mailbox. You are cordially invited to the grand opening of the Willow Creek Airstrip, champagne reception, a ribbon cutting, and the inaugural demonstration landing. She'd actually hired a plane. She was going to have an actual aircraft try to land on her fake, uncertified, illegal runway. I called my office in D.C. Yeah, hi. I need you to send a cease and desist order. And probably a federal marshal. To this address in Texas. Oh, and call the local sheriff. Tell him he's gonna want to be here Saturday, 2 p.m. Trust me, Saturday. It was all perfect, hot, sunny Texas day. She had a tent. She had caterers. She had a little podium. All the investors were there, in their linen suits, sipping champagne. The whole neighborhood was out. Cynthia, she was in this bright white power suit, just glowing with arrogance. I stayed in the back, by the pecan trees, just watching. She gets up to the podium. Today, she says, we don't just dream. We achieve. We are pioneers. We are the vision of the new Texas, human, right on cue. You hear it? Buzzies. A little Cessna, a prop plane, starts circling overhead. And here he is, she yells. Our inaugural flight. The plane. It banks. It's actually lining up with my field. He's really gonna try and land. That's when I started walking. I walked out of the shade, right, onto the middle of the new asphalt. The crowd, they all see me. They start whispering, Cynthia. Her face, it goes dark. Sam, she screams into the microphone. Sam, what are you doing? Get off the runway. You're ruining the ceremony. Get off! The plane it's getting closer. Maybe 500 feet up. I stood there, in the middle of the runway, and I looked up at her. He can't land, Cynthia. I yelled, Security! She shrieks. Get him out of here. He can't land. I yelled back. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my wallet. and I flipped it open. The sun, it flashed off the gold badge. This is an uncertified, unapproved, illegal landing strip. I am FAA Director Sam Miller, and I am ordering that pilot to go around. Now, the silence. You could hear a pin drop. The pilot, up in that plane. He must have heard FAA Director, 'cause Vrisom. He hits the throttle hard. He pulls up, fast, just screams. Right over our heads. The crowd gasps, the champagne glasses. They rattle. The investors, their faces just white. Cynthia, she just dropped the microphone. It thuds on the podium. She just stared at me. You're who? I'm the guy who signs the paychecks, Cynthia, I said, walking towards her. I'm the guy whose job it is to prevent